Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back, everybody. Tuesday, welcome, hello. It's kind of a weird day. I don't know. It's kind of a weird day. I forgot it was Tuesday. I was driving like all day yesterday, and for some reason yesterday felt like a Sunday. Does it ever happen to you? And then you wake up today and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a little rainy little Monday, and then you're like, well, it's actually Tuesday. That's kind of where we're at today. It's kind of where we're at. And then I was like, I really don't have a lot of I need to get work done. Like I can't just sit and talk for 90 minutes on a live stream. So then I decided, I was like, well, I'll just build, because I got to work on the new ACSS site. So I was like, well, we'll just make it a live build scenario. What's up, everybody? Say hi in the chat. We're kind of going to get right in it today. Because we're trying to push this new ACSS site closer to the finish line so we can get it out. For those of you who are ACSS users, you're wondering about the status of 4.0's release. We're essentially at the point where it is the marketing site has to get, that's what I'm trying to do today. We're trying to button this thing up, get it closer to the finish line so that can be launched. Because along with 4.0, 4.0 is going to be on a new licensing system. We haven't decided what the licensing system is going to be yet. We were thinking we use SureCart for Etch. We've been thinking SureCart, but we're not sure. There's some limitations. And so there's just a lot, there's nothing really left on the framework side or the product side all that much. There's some internal cleanup of some JSON files. I think I completed the cheat sheet refactor, so the cheat sheet should all be up to date in the next release. I think Bricks context menus probably need some updating. Who wants to do that, honestly? But it has to be done. It's not fun. But it's just kind of little stuff like that. Technical, internal type stuff has to be done. But this website is a big thing because it's if you have a new licensing system, you're going to have a new, kind of account area, and you've got to link up the pricing page to the wherever system you're using for the new licensing. And so, there's things that have to be done before other things can be done. But if you're using 4.0, because it's already out essentially, right? It's RC1. It's stable. It's production ready. It's everybody's using it. Thousands of users are using it already. So you don't the versions of ACSS 4 don't really matter anymore. It's the framework is done. We're just waiting on other internal stuff that nobody really cares about at the end of the day. Right. I do want to show you the progress that I've made so far on the ACSS website. For those who are around on the first iteration of this, can you show us some shades ACSS techniques? Shades ACSS techniques. Can you explain more? Can you double down? Can you give some more details? Let me post this little comment here. Okay. All right. That'll be good for now. I got to close this tab. All right. Let's go ahead and let me go to the site and I'll share. Let's go screen main. Is that going to get us the right screen? That is. Okay. So I'll just get everybody up to speed real quick on where we're at and what I've been working on. So the homepage is in shambles currently. I mean, it's the hero is the way I want it to be. We've got this strip down here that I want. I decided, and I'll just, some of you have heard this before, but obviously automatic CSS is a very feature-rich product. It's when you have a very feature-rich product that also happens to be technical, it's very difficult, challenging to communicate. Decide, first of all, the line of communication, how you want to organize the communication, because you can't overwhelm people. You can't make it feel like it's so difficult, and really it's not. And there's a lot of really high selling point features. Then there's a lot of powerful stuff that is, less talked about. And it's like, do you want to talk about those? Should we talk about those? The more things you talk about, just in quantity of the things you're talking about, starts to make it feel like there's too much going on. Like you have to walk a fine line. You have to walk a fine line. Then there's the idea of visualizing some of this stuff, because it can't all just be text. It's like you can't write a 3,000 word blog post. You've got to have visuals to go along with all of this stuff. So what I've been working on is I decided to kind of go with this line of consideration, which is the only framework that supports all three phases of development, right? So obviously there's a setup, a prep phase for every single project that you might do. We'll take a look at that. Then there's the build workflow. What is it actually like to use the framework? Like how does it benefit you when you're actually building things? And then there's the idea of adjusting it at any time, because automatic CSS is unique in that fashion that like you could literally, the entire site is done and you go adjust everything after it's done. Like very few frameworks allow you to do that. Like none that I know of, honestly, none that I know of, without a lot of find replace like kind of nonsense. And then you have to be very surgical and you have to be very careful, and you actually can't adjust things with confidence. That's the thing. Can every framework be adjusted? Yeah. Technically, yes. I guess the answer is yes. The question is, can you safely adjust it? Do you know what the hell that adjustment is actually going to do? Do you know what the consequences, the full ramifications of that adjustment are? Well, with automatic CSS, you do. For example, like the contextualization of content gap, grid gap, card gap, container gap. These are levers that I can adjust at any time without fear, because I know that they're used in those contexts. I know what the context of the change happens to be. And that is what is unique about automatic CSS versus many other, or literally every other framework, right? Anyway, so there's a lot to communicate. That's challenging. There's a lot to communicate. And then on top of deciding what you're going to communicate, how you're going to communicate it. So by doing these 3 steps, by kind of breaking this down into, okay, there's 3 phases of development. Let's explain what automatic CSS helps you with in the setup phase. Then let's explain what it helps you with in the build phase. Then let's explain how there's this adjustment phase that can happen, that you have the tremendous flexibility to do this adjustment phase that actually can't really be safely done in other frameworks. We break it into 3 chunks. Now, suddenly it starts to feel a little bit more digestible. And then we go and we dedicate a page to each phase. So this is kind of what I'm working on right now. But then that opens the question of, but then what the hell do you put on the homepage? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, there was going to be a lot of like kind of feature overview on the homepage, but now all the feature overviews happen across these 3 pages. It's like, what are we going to do with the homepage now? That's kind of where we're at. But first, before I figure that out, I'm going to I got to finish these pages. So let me show you where we're at with the setup phase. So I'm going to go to workflow setup. So we have this hero section. I still have to finish this this visualization is kind of like a digital checklist of sorts. And it's obviously everything is checked off. I'm working on looping through that. I'll edit this page in a second and show you the technical side of how this is all coming together. And then I built this little navigation here, which is all dynamic and it's sticky and it follows you down the page so you can go from step to step to step. I built this footer down here, which actually does link dynamically to the next page and the previous page. And did this little layout. So if I go to the build page, for example, and I scroll all the way down, it'll have setup as the previous step and adjust as the next step. And so this is like a dynamic little navigation for this CPT. And then when I go to adjust, obviously you'll see that there's no more next. So it just says build and then you buy a license. Okay, so I built that. I got the little the sticky nav up here going. Let's go back to setup and see how long, or how long we've been working on this. I was about to say, it's my brain, because it's like, man, feels like a while. Oh, I threw in some effects. Okay, check out the little grid as we just subtle. Okay, let's not go crazy. Let's just subtle effects, subtle. Stay subtle with it, okay? These, by the way, are from Automatic CSS's effects library. This is all pure CSS. This is not any dependency. This is no No JavaScript, no nothing. Okay, we're just doing nice little subtle on scroll, little blurrage here. Okay, so this is obviously, we want to talk about the color system. I decided to go with a big heading, well, like a marketing headline, and then this is the actual heading. This is the H2. Then there's going to be a blurb, like a lead paragraph, and then an area for just bullet points, okay? Because bullet points are very easy to scan. You can put a lot, you can kind of put a lot in a few bullet points, Then of course I need to customize this link down here, but then we come down, so same kind of format. And I decided, you maybe have 3 bullets in some of them, 4 bullets in some of them, 5 max, don't go over 5 bullets. Okay, so we're talking about in the setup, like, hey, your colors are taken care of, your spacing is taken care of. And by the way, we're introducing the concept of, using tokens with meaning, not just, numbers. Modern responsive typography is taken care of for you. Style all buttons and links in seconds. That's a big pain point. Unified styling for things like cards, links, forms, and more. We got a little card visualization, shows you how these things are contextualized to cards. Okay, and then we're gonna go on to build. And I still need a visual up here for this build hero. By the way, I have this noise effect I've been using. If you can see this full, like if you go on to the actual site on yourself, you should be able to see some of these smaller little details. This is using a custom, what we call in automatic CSS, a surface, okay? So created this section gradient surface, like a custom surface. And then a custom noise component that I built. It's actually free for Etch. Anybody can use it and drop it in. The noise really gives such a nice little texture. So I'm kind of layering things. I've got the gradient surface, and then I put the texture on top of it, the noise texture. But here's where we're at with the build page. So we're going to talk about creating responsive layouts in seconds without breakpoints. This is, where's Claude? And I'm going to show you, the process of what I've been going through of using Claude Cowork to essentially ideate and generically mock things up. But then I go in and just build it myself. But I have this kind of like, I don't know, mock-up you would call it, right? And so, I talked to it about like, okay, why don't we show, like, how do we visualize, create responsive layouts in seconds with no breakpoints? Just kind of putting a little hero section in there. But I wanted to maybe be interactive in some form or fashion with, maybe we build a little responsive slider bar that actually allows people to interact with this and see the content stack inside the hero. Every little one of these things, I'm calling like I think I'm calling them a mock-up or something. And I'm building a little presentation for each one. And it's kind of time consuming, but I'll show you one that I did yesterday. So we get to this section on light mode, dark mode, 1 switch, 0 headaches, okay? And I'm talking about using the modern light dark syntax to manage color schemes, new modern approach, no media queries, 75% less code output, 100% customizable to your preferences, the easiest color scheme setup in existence. And so I built this visualizer of a dark card, light card, right? And this is actually now a comparison component that I can just share and give away for free to Etch users, but this is kind of the concept. It's like, I don't want it to just all be static over here. We want it to be a little bit interactive, So you can see there's a dark card that transitions to a light card. Okay, so that's nice. But it's like, it's time consuming. Like first ideating, how do you want to visualize this feature? And then building the actual presentation of the feature. It's time consuming, guys. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but you can't, and this is, if we look at Claude, for example, and this is what I'm trying to tell the vibe coders all the time, like it built one here. And so I was like, okay, and this was after a lot of prompting, reprompting, like fine tuning. Of course, look, it's broken, the handle. Look, the handle doesn't even go with the line. So their version's I would have to continue reprompting to try to get this like dialed in. A lot of the smaller details are, either I didn't want them or wanted to tweak them. And it's AI is really, really good. When you want something custom, it's really good at getting you like 80% of the way there. And then the last 20%, it's a real struggle fest. And not only is it a struggle fest, but it burns exactly the same amount of time. Like the last 20% of reprompting with AI, you could have literally just done it yourself. By the time you're done with it, if you're particular, and this is what I tell people all the time, they're like, no, I don't ever have to do that. And I'm like, I don't think you're super particular. You're probably the kind of user that's just like, you kind of just accept what it's giving you. And maybe you make a tweak but you're not being super particular. If you're super particular, you're going to recognize the limits and the loops very quickly. Like it gets stuck in loops. It maxes out. Like it can't actually, at some point, it just can't do what you're asking it to do. And then you're kind of stuck. And it's like, man, I should have just done it myself to begin with. And by the way, if I had just done it myself, I would be continuing my practice. I wouldn't be getting dumber. Just trying to be a prompt queen. So it's kind of like you see this play out in real life, what I've been saying the entire time. So yeah, and the idea of me not really being able to easily go in and adjust this stuff later in the future, like I want to be in command of the code, right? I don't want to turn this over to agents. By the way, I am feeling the need on the Etch website, on the Automatic CSS website, to put a prominent disclaimer that this is built by humans and not agents. I'm thinking maybe it should even live in the header, like right below the logo. Maybe I don't know where to put this badge. Maybe there needs to be an official badge. Maybe it has a tooltip. Maybe a bunch of people start using this badge. But like we're getting into a world where I almost feel like we got to tell people. Like if humans built the product, you almost got to tell people at this point, because there's so many things just flooding this, just nonsense slop flooding the market, and people are starting to wonder, hey, was this like product built by people, or was this one of those vibe coded situations? I feel like you need a disclaimer now, so we got to figure out how to handle that. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. I gotta do this here. Let me edit with Etch. I'll kind of show you behind the scenes a little bit of what's going on. First of all, the sticky header that you saw, and I think the footer too, those come from the archive template. So this is an example of, I've talked before about how you can have a fully static page where you build the entire page with something like Etch, something's in my eye, or you could do a fully dynamic template where the entire thing is constructed from the database, whether you're using custom fields or whatever. And then there's hybrids. Well, this is an example of a hybrid where the template handles the navigation and it handles this footer. And of course it handles the normal header and the normal footer, but everything sandwiched in between belongs to that page. So you can see the navigation here. By the way, how did I build the navigation? So if we go here to workflow navigation, I made it its own little component, and I just made a nav with an inner and a list and a loop, and we're just looping through all the steps of the workflow, and we're looping through them in order. That's it. And then I used a counter. So I used a counter so it numbers them automatically, because the numbers are not in the title of the post. So if there was another page added, it would say 04 and then the title of that page. So it's automatically numbering itself. And that's pretty much it. Very, very easy stuff to do, by the way, in, the other thing I did in Etch, just a little JavaScript snippet to identify the current page and add aria current equals page. That is how you get the styling. Let's go to the front end. Front end, please. Thank you. That is how you get the styling of the current page. Notice when it's on setup, setup is highlighted. When it's on build, build is highlighted. That's all done with aria current. And so that was very easy to add. Let's go down. So the rows of every feature row, let's go to workflow. Let's go to build. Every feature row is a component. I created this explore card. It's like exploring the framework or whatever. So you have the explore card and it's 2 slots. Okay. So you have the slot on there's a slot for the description area, which also can hold the list. Okay, so this whole description area, not the heading, not this part, just the description area, is a slot. So like anything can go in there, a little paragraph, little list, whatever. The icon list is a component in itself. And then the right side is a figure. And that is so every right side can be anything I want there. You could build anything you want there. Any kind of presentation can live there. And I called that slot figure. So that's kind of how that is done. So if we go down and we see this one, I built a comparison slider component. And the comparison slider lives right inside of that figure slot, okay? And so if we do that, there's nothing there. See, I was able to create a component, but flexible to where anything can live inside of it, even other components can live inside of it. And so we have the comparison slider, which also uses slots to put in whatever you want into the two sides of the comparison that then get interacted with this slider, okay? Lot of components. Like when you're building modern websites, they should be very component heavy, but you also want to be intelligent with how you build and construct these components. The other thing is, like with this comparison slider, that's something, and let's say you built it yourself. You can now use that on every single project you ever build going forward, right? Or you can use mine and just copy and paste it in and use it on every project going forward. Like, that's the benefit of the shareability of these components, the flexibility of these components. So did I have to stop and build a comparison slider? Yes. How much extra work did it take me? 30 minutes. But now I have a thing that I can use on any project I ever need going forwards. So it's an asset. Like I invested time in building an asset. This is also something you have to think about considering with AI approach, where you're vibe coding everything. You are not building libraries of assets. You are doing the same work. You are having AI do the same kinds of work over and over and over and over and over again, which you think is fine because you're not actually doing anything. But at the end of the day, you are reprompting. You're spending the same 30 minutes, if not more. The only difference is you're doing that over and over and over again. Whenever you need it. And I'm not doing that over and over and over again. I'm building libraries of assets that I can use repeatedly. Okay, so I think we need to get to work. Unless anybody else has any questions about what we're doing here or how this is all constructed. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go. So this is the create responsive layouts in seconds without breakpoints. Let's go to Claude here. And so what we need to build is this little hero. Can I zoom in on this? It won't let me zoom in. And I'm using, I didn't want it to be a real hero, obviously. I wanted it to be like a fabrication of a hero and almost use like a skeleton loading kind of style for the content. And then this like placeholder kind of image on the side. So I want to use the same naming conventions. If we go down and look over here, we have the, let's see, color scheme. Actually, let's go to a different page. Let's go to the setup page because I did a bunch on there. So what did I call this? Mockup. So they're all mockups essentially is what I called them. So I named this spacing mockup. This is palette mockup. This is probably typography. Yep. Typography mockup. Okay. So I'm just trying to keep my naming stuff as consistent as possible. So let's go to the build step. And so this is going to be the layout mockup or hero mockup. I don't know which one we want to go with, but we'll be working inside of this slot right here. And so we'll do, how about hero mockup? Hero mockup. Okay. And literally I'm just building a mini hero section. So let's go with, I'm not going to make it all semantic. I'm actually going to use a trick, which I want to double check, but I think if I do role equals presentation on this, it's essentially like, hey, ignore all the shit that's going on inside of this. This is like for visual effect. This is like it's like an image. It's like a graph. It's like anything else. Okay. It's just, don't scrutinize what's inside of it. Just don't pay attention to the thing as a whole. Pretty sure that's kind of the line of thinking there. And I actually have never made skeleton stuff before. So I'm going to ask Claude, like, what's the best approach to doing this skeleton kind of situation? But this is going to be content. This is going to be media. And then the media is fake, right? So it's just going to have a, not an image, sorry. It's going to have an icon. Let's just throw an icon in there. All right, so this will be the media icon. Then you have your content. Let's go ahead and ask Claude real quick, okay? So what's the most or best what's the most efficient or best way to handle those skeleton mockups? Lines. Okay, whatever. Let's see what it comes back with. As a beginner who learning slowly, I'm trying to build my own patterns, layouts, wish me luck. Yeah. 3 stages may be a good place to use CSS page transitions or something to indicate the breadcrumb back to all stages and site visitors taken away from the stages section. I don't know. You're talking about on the homepage or where? Because I'm actually, that homepage is just placeholder for right now. I actually don't know what I'm going to do yet with the homepage. The most efficient approach is a reusable CSS class with an after pseudo or just a simple utility class you can drop into any element, 2 main patterns. Okay. So you're putting real content there. You're just covering it up. That's essentially what you're doing. Then in markup, just add a height and a width inline. Well, do you really have to? I don't know if you really have to. Okay, it's not saying to do that. But I could actually do that. Well, not really. I don't know. Hold on. How is this handled with a multi-line paragraph, for example? Just divs for each line, or is there a way to? Yeah, you can't, because CSS doesn't handle lines. It doesn't. There's no line handling in CSS. Each line, just divs for each line. It's all fake, empty containers, right? We're not covering up actual text, or are we? I've never bothered to do skeletons because I don't actually care about skeletons, and I don't care about skeletons in real life. Much less like building them in projects. Fake empty containers, no actual text involved, just divs with a fixed height. Okay, all right. And then we just have a class called skeleton. Okay. Whatever, son, whatever. All right, so we need a span, and that's gonna be for our fake, or let's say skeleton heading. Ooh. I don't know that I need. I don't know that I need a utility class. I don't know. I'm going through something in my brain. Maybe. What if I used real content though? What if I used real content? Oh God. So dude, my brain is so over engineering right now. It's like, but I so want to pursue this line of consideration. This feels like it would be very fun to me. We might re-engineer the way skeletons are done right now. I don't know. I'm thinking in my head, like, this idea of setting manual line lengths, I would rather the real content actually generate the skeleton layout. I might go off the base here. Okay. What do we want? Okay. What if we had real content? Let's just start there. What if we had some real content? And this was lorem, lorem 20. Okay. All right. I don't know if this is possible, but we're gonna try it. This would be an H3. Okay. So we're gonna say skeleton heading. Imagine the skeleton was able to handle this automatically. Just imagine that for a minute. Okay, media icon. I'm gonna call this skeleton heading because I have an idea for the class names. I'm gonna call this skeleton text, and I'm gonna call this skeleton button. Okay, and I'm gonna call this. No, I'm not gonna call that skeleton content. I'm just gonna call it content. So hero mockup, content, skeleton heading, skeleton text, skeleton button, and then you have media icon. I think I'm good with all this. We'll create the BEM classes here. I think this will be easy to just undo and get rid of if it doesn't work. I'm just gonna go down. Shad CDN has this figured out for you if you want skeleton loading. Shad CN skeleton. Let's see. Import. It uses JavaScript though. Skeleton. Yeah, it's doing manual skeleton. It's doing what Claude just told me to do. It's just a skeleton component, which is another. Okay, maybe we go down that road. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a better idea than the road I was about to go down. Okay, let's get rid of this. I'm gonna go into, let's search skeleton real quick. Let's go, we don't need that. Okay, let's build a skeleton component then. So this would be like a span. And I'll say skeleton. It should be like skeleton text, shouldn't it? That should be the component, skeleton text. All right. So that's just gonna be empty. It's just empty. Let's go ahead and create component called skeleton text. We're gonna need a height and a width, and that's probably it. I would gather, right? Height, width. I'm gonna say 1 LH is, I'm just guessing, would be the default height, like one line height. How about font size? Font size? If you're doing font size, if you change the font size, it would affect the height of the LH. And you would have maybe, okay, hold on. Let's delete that. Maybe we go select. Maybe we go select and we do font size. And we say H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, text S. How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? Do we just use all vars? Var, okay, let's first, before we get all the options in there, let's get a few working. Let's just make sure what we are thinking about actually does what we want it to do. So imagine we had, and I'll just say M, okay? Text M. Okay, I feel like that should work. Okay, where are we? Here's our skeleton text right here. Skeleton text alpha. And let's name that skeleton text alpha here. Just kind of make these names all work together. And skeleton text alpha is going to be inline size of var width, block size of var height. And then we're going to say that the style equals width of props. Okay, we'll do props dot width and height of props dot height, and we'll put that in. Okay, so those are mapping across to inline styles. You have 100% here. Do we even have, okay, we're gonna need a background to see it. Background of red, display of, what will we do here? Well, it's already an inline element. Maybe we'll just leave it as an inline element. The question is, do we even have anything, 1LH, 100%, do we even have anything loading on the page? Let's just go and see what we have first. Did we get anything here? Okay, skeleton text alpha, let's copy that, save. I feel like, let's just refresh real quick. All right, where are we at media content? Skeleton text alpha does exist. Let's put in a height. Let's put in a height of like something else for right now. 200. We need to get something on the page. Okay, did I refresh? Refresh. I don't even see it refreshing. Okay, there we go. That finally refreshed. All right, so let's inspect here. God, get out of mobile mode. All right, I just want to be in normal mode. Thank you. All right, here's the mockup content, skeleton text alpha. Width, 100%. Block size, 1LH. 200 pixels. Inline size, 200 pixels. Background red. Why is a 200 pixel item inline size, 200 pixels? Oh, it's because it is an inline. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do it inline. You're not gonna be able to do it inline. Okay, so let's do display flex. There we go. Now it's gonna show up. That should be fine. I would think that that's not gonna cause any problems. I would think that that's not gonna cause any problems. Okay. All right. I feel like this is caching. I feel like Rocket. Yeah, I'm having to reload twice, and I think the second time's clearing the cache. Okay. All right, so does Rocket let you turn it off? This wasn't a problem yesterday when I was doing this, though. Does Rocket let you turn caching off? No, I don't want to be there. Hold on. I want to be manage. You can clear the cache. You can auto update plugins. You can log backup file my theme. Yeah. Don't know. Okay, I'm not going to bother with that right now. We can kill this. All right. So if I let's see if our other theories hold true. Okay. So height 100%. So if this was like 80%, it would be there. So if I had like two of them and one was 100% and one was 80%, you would get lines like this. Okay, we could put the longer one ahead of that one. We could do 0.5 LH. No, 1 LH seems right. Content needs to be spaced out like anything else. We'll do a gap of 1 LH, 0.5 LH, something like that. Okay, all right. This seems like we're getting there. Now a heading would be okay. Let's try the font size thing. So, oh, by the way, font size should be medium by default. So let's go back. We would want this to be up here. So you have medium, that's your default, or you can do an H1 or an H2. Let's see if this even changes the way that I was thinking it was going to change it. The question is, it seems like, yeah, you just put the font size here. Just put the font size here. So font size is props.font size. I'm guessing that's what that is. Yeah. Okay. And let's go back to using it. Okay. So that's M, that's M, that's M. This would be H1. Okay, so I guess it doesn't change. If I did EX, it would, or no? Wouldn't line height be relative to the size of the font, guys? Shouldn't that change if you're setting 1 LH? Hello, rocket.net. There we go. Okay. Let's go hero mockup. We'll just quickly do display grid. Actually, you know what? I've been doing this a lot lately. So no breakpoints, okay? We're going to do variable grid. Okay. And then this is going to be something like 150 because this is a very small mockup. Very, very small mockup. Okay. In fact, these LHs, that one LH looks too big for this mockup. 0.5 LH, 0.5 LH, and 0.5 LH. I feel like those are not mapping through. Okay. Height, width, height, props.height. Let's look at that on the front end. Could you use the variables for this maybe instead of 1 LH like heading line height? Yeah, maybe you could. Right now I'm just seeing if it actually does what I'm expecting it to do. So the font size we verified doesn't do a damn thing. Okay, so that doesn't matter. The LH does change. So that's fine. And 1 LH is for that mockup is too large, but that's why we put the height in there. We can do whatever we want with it. So, oh, I know what's going on here. So that's what's being confusing right now. we need so in Etch, because to make everything clickable, you have a minimum size on elements. And that is using something called empty, I believe empty element size. There it is, empty element size. So you on components like this, you could say empty element size is 0. And then it will be it'll be true to size. That's what was confusing me right there. Okay. So we'll do 1 LH as our default. That's fine. 100% as our default. That's fine as well. And actually, we don't need the font size. I'm gonna show you something you can do instead. Okay. So let's get the font size out of here, and let's go use this thing the way we might expect. So what if this was just H1, or H2 or H3? I think you can just do this all with height. It's just fake. Like that's what it's supposed to be anyway. It's just supposed to be fake. What if you did var text M as the height of this line, right? And then this line can also be var text M. That's my other text line. And then I can have a button line, right? So we'll do another one. And you could even come in with width and do something like var button min width or something, okay? Because that's a variable too. That's a variable from the button framework. So I feel like this kind of gets us done, okay? Hero mockup content, and then I could do like last child like this, and do like margin block start of 0.5 M. So that'll like put that little separation there. Okay. This is supposed to be a mockup for the media, which I already have an icon for. And then this is going to be background color of what? Base what? Base semi-dark, base dark, base ultra dark. I think what I did is I made a custom one. Background, because I'm already using like a gradient with a noise, and then some of my other darks are blending with it. So I'm just gonna do a color mix. We want to do in OKLCH. We want to do base light actually. And then we want to do base dark. So we want to blend base light and base dark. And I probably only want like 20% of base light to be in there. And I'm just trying to adjust like the contrast of this. Maybe like 25% we'll do. Okay. And then we'll round the corners there. We'll do some display flex, and we'll just put this in the center and call it a day. This probably needs padding. Let's do like space M. That's gonna make all of that bigger. It's gonna make it look more like an actual hero section there. And then this should be like automatically responsive at some point. Okay, and that's clearly like, oh, we can't use button min width here because our buttons go to 100% on mobile. We don't want it to do that. So let's do 120 pixels or something. All right, doesn't need to be anything crazy. All right, when does this thing collapse? So this collapses, I feel like way late. So what is this is 211. All right. I probably want it to collapse there. 252. So we just go to this grid and just say we'll just say 250. Just round it out at 250. Now it's gonna break sooner. And then I'm realizing that this doesn't actually have an intrinsic height. So we'll do min block size of 300 pixels, 200 pixels, like 200 pixels somewhere in there. We can justify that to the center. Now when they collapse, it'll actually still retain its height. It'll still look like a hero section. That should all be fine and dandy. Okay. Now all we have to do here is go back and add the shimmer, the skeleton shimmer. So let's see what Claude was saying to do with the styling. Animation, skeleton, color transparent, background size, background linear gradient. All right, I can just steal this. Background linear gradient, background size, animation, skeleton shimmer, border radius 4 pixels. I'll just change the border radius to my own radius. All right, let's go skeleton text. Let's go in here. Let's drop that in. Border radius is just going to go to radius. That seems right. Though I don't know. What if I went to like a pill radius at some point? Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should be fixed. Maybe like 3 pixels or something. Yeah, do something like that. Something subtle. Something subtle. Okay, and then we just need the animation. So it gave us these keyframes, and we will go stick those in. So we'll go to Style, Style Sheets, Transparencies, Utilities, Main. How about we add a new style sheet? Animations, and drop that in. Okay. And we have a shimmering little hero section. Let's do a couple refreshes here. And all right. Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. I feel like it needs a border of some sort. So let's go ahead and look at what Claude wanted us to do. Okay, so Claude wants us to have a slight border around the hero and then another background color. And so I'm just gonna steal the color mix that I did for right here. Let's go ahead, get out of here, grab this. Here's the color mix, okay? We'll do this on the entire hero. Let's pop that in there, but our mix is gonna be 5% maybe, or 10% maybe. Yeah, let's do like a 10%. Let's do a border of border. And let's do our block size here probably needs to, oh, you know what? There's is screenshot. We need to turn that off. And then we don't want it to grow in height all the way. We definitely don't want that to happen. So set a block size 100%. Let's do, I could do a container query because you can use container query heights. Okay, if we did 50%, can we even do 60, 70? But we could do a max. Okay, this media also I don't need to stretch. How are we doing that? Hero mockup. Align items to the center. That's probably. Do we want that to grow? How much do we want it to grow? Oh, actually, if we actually put like section padding on it, because it's supposed to behave like a section. It's supposed to behave. Let's do padding block of section space S, okay? Like, you know, it is a small mock-up, XS, something like that. And padding inline of gutter, but like half the gutter. We don't need like a full-blown ass gutter, you know? That is gonna change our grid. This won't need the padding anymore, I don't think. And we'll just adjust this to, what, it would go down, right? Yeah, 200, okay. Now we're starting to look, okay, now we're starting to look a little bit better here. Let's do a border radius of radius and justify self of center. What would justify self? Align self? Align self center. I don't think that that's gonna work. Margin block of auto's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna work either. What is the structure of this? Let's go look on the front end. Okay, it's coming along. Inspect. Remember, we're still gonna need the handle at some point to like let the person preview the responsiveness. So this is inside a figure, and this figure is not display flex. What if this was display flex? And flex direction was column. Then would I be able to take my mockup? Okay, there's an overlay in there too. Okay, take my mockup and align self to the center, or justify self to the center. Would that work? No. Okay, figure. How about if I, okay. Align items to the center. No, justify content to the center. Content, let's spell it correctly. That's what we want. That's what we want right there. Okay, so I think I can do that from my mockup. So hero mockup, we're gonna do figure. Figure has me. Figure has me. If a figure has me, display flex, flex direction column, justify content to the center. I'm telling you that has me, I don't think people quite understand how much of a game changer has me is. The has me concept. I find myself using it all the freaking time. Okay, so what have we done? We've created a little hero section mockup. It's like a mini hero. And I'm actually thinking now, we might want another one of these lines of text, but we might actually want those to be S or even XXS. Yeah, I think I want these to be XS. So if we grab this whole thing, I was explaining this the other day to people. When you grab the parent wrapper, you can see all these. Like, so I don't actually need multi-cursor like selection of things in the structure panel often, because I can just multi-select them like this and change their values. And so like that, of course, I didn't want to do that to the last one, because the last one is the button. Okay, let's. Oh wait, hold on. Did I change this? I changed the structure, I believe. Okay, let's go backwards. Let's see if undo can save us from what we just did. Oh, thank God, undo. Thank God for undo, okay? We don't want to do it to the last one, to the button, okay? So let's not do it to that one. Let's only do it to these three, okay? So I'll demonstrate again. So this one is the button right here. We don't want to do it to that. In fact, I could button, isn't there a button padding block, I believe. Would that look like a button? I don't know. No, button height, I believe, is I thought button height was one. Okay, maybe not. Let's do 50 pixels here. Oh, that's a big button. That's a very large button. Okay, that's a better button right there. Okay, so what we need is these M's right here, bam, bam, to just be XS's. Those are the lines. So we can adjust those all together. Okay, now that's getting a little bit better. Our button, though, looks still a little bit tall. Maybe 25. Okay, I'm nitpicking at this point. But this is the kind of stuff that, like, would I want to re-prompt these things, or would I just want to make these adjustments? I kind of just want to make these adjustments. So that looks pretty good. That, guys, looks pretty good. Let's maybe make it a little bit bigger. Let's go padding block S. Okay, it's just gonna kind of make it a little taller. It's not really gonna change the content inside much. Now, I don't know what these bullets are gonna be yet, and I don't know how many we're gonna have. But I think we're good enough. So we probably want to build a handle or a switch. Probably a handle, because responsiveness, you do want to see responsiveness throughout the full range, kind of like we're doing here. In fact, let's look at our responsiveness. At some point, oh, did I put a min height on this somewhere where it's not allowed to grow beyond a certain height? There's this div. A mockup inside a mockup proves to be a little bit of a challenge. What is actually happening there that it's squishing? Oh, I know. I think I know. Okay. Let's grab the skeleton. So there's just going to be too many. Let's think about this. Items. Let's put a gap in here. We do have a gap of grid gap. Is our grid gap changing? Yes. Okay. Let's just do a 1M on that. We're kind of doing things at mini scale. Oh, it's a problem with the height. Yeah, min block size 200 pixels when it doesn't actually have room to be 200 pixels. I think this is probably what's causing that. Yeah. This actually should probably just have padding. What if we did padding space L? XL, XXL, there we go. That's gonna look more like an image and then not cause any overflow issues. That works better. By the way, being able to see, that's still trying to overflow. What is media icon, background? Okay. I think there's something involving, yeah, it's not the image, it's the content wrapper. Var H3 with 100%, text. Okay. Width, height. Is it the height of this button? Let's see if the overflows still happen. Yes, they do. What would cause that? What would cause that? Gap 1M. I don't see any of those. I don't see really any problem. I really don't see anything that would be causing that. Border radius, flex direction, column, padding. Other than the, does it happen when the image is not imaging? Yes, it starts to. At the very end there, it starts to. It's something to do with the height of the skeletons. Probably hero mockup. It's probably the height of the wrapper in the component, like the figure. Does that figure have an aspect ratio on it? It has its own padding. Aha. There, it's the aspect ratio on the figure. Okay. No problem. Well, now that we know, we go back to our little has-me aspect ratio auto. Gotcha. Uncomment that. Gotcha. Okay, I think we're good. We solved the mystery. Guys. Now all these are going to be aspect ratio 1. And this is not. Is that okay? I think so. I don't know. I think so. Trying to think of another solution that might be, okay, we won't worry about it right now. Maybe we build our little responsive slider. This is gonna be a component in itself. Okay, so let's go back to Claude. All right, Claude, help us out. Okay, I want to build a component that, I wanna build a, let's call it a canvas window component that has a responsive slider. Much like the, well, hold on. I built one of these for the patterns website. Let's take a look at that one. I'm trying to ideate the structure of this here. Okay, so yeah, it's like, it's always on the right-hand side. Okay, so much like the comparison slider component we built, but the responsive drag handle is always on the right, kinda in the scroll bar position. And when the user drags the window, drags the handle on the window, it reacts like a browser would, changing the canvas width. Okay. Start by giving me the markup only. Okay, let's use BEM, and let's identify all elements, all key elements of the component, like the drag handle, with data attributes and not classes in the JS. But don't give me the JS yet. Let's go one step at a time. Okay. Let's see what we get back here. I agree, has me is useful so often. Okay, let's take a look at what it's trying to spit back. So data responsive canvas, class equals responsive canvas, data responsive, okay. Call it responsive canvas alpha. Okay. I definitely haven't wrapped my brain around the has me yet. Yeah, it's once you unlock the power of has me, it opens an entirely new universe. The JS reads the class name, removes the effect after some time. No size width needed to be defined. I made a skeleton loader. I just defined the elements that needed with a class is loading. The CSS targets that class, the elements inside. Yeah, I'm not actually doing a real skeleton. This is like a fake skeleton because it's never going to go away. It's just literally going to stay there at all times and just, it's like placeholder visualization essentially. Okay, this looks fairly good. We can do any adjustments we need to do when we're back in Etch. So essentially what we're going to do is inside this slot, we are going to paste what it just gave us, responsive canvas alpha. Then you have the toolbar, you have the stage. What a name. What a name. Viewport content. I just throw my hero mockup in the content. That should be fine. Actually, what I want to do is I want to create a pattern out of this hero mockup. Okay. And I'll do mockups as the category, and then I'll save that pattern. And then we can just delete that pattern or remove it. And then we have this responsive canvas alpha situation. Let's go ahead and create the component here. And we're just going to get it working first. Actually, I don't even know if I'm just going to exit. I don't even know if I want to do that yet. I'm just going to get it working. Let's just get it working. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm ready for the JS. Let's do our best to make this accessible, bub. Okay. I think if you give it nicknames, it does tend to work better. It should handle multiple instances on the same page. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I am not, you know, sometimes I like to talk to it. Sometimes I like to type. My brain thinks better while I'm typing than when I'm talking. So believe it or not. So I tend to just default to typing. All right. So when you're vibe coding, these kinds of little mini scenarios, to me, is not nearly as potentially problematic, right? We might get a little slop, okay? It's the scope of what we're doing that we have to keep in mind. So there's the scope of like, I'm building this little one-off little component for this use case of a responsive canvas. I'm not vibe coding my entire project. I'm not, you know, building an app for somebody else to use and log into and put their personal data in. And like, you know, there are scales and scopes to what you're trying to accomplish, and where the accessibility comes in, and, or the, did I say accessibility? I meant acceptability, comes in or doesn't come in. Of course, I also have a team where I can throw this back to them and be like, hey, what do you think about this shit it spit back, you know? And then we can always make improvements later. What I'm worried about right now is let's get to something that actually does something. And then, all right, let's see, what CSS did you have in mind for this? Let's be as minimal as possible to start. Okay, don't go crazy, Claude. Just give me a little. What are you thinking? What along the lines? What are you thinking? Now, very soon we will be able to just paste this stuff in. But let's see what it's kind of starting with here. So the responsive canvas alpha is just with 100% overflow hidden. We're going to do this. I think there, by the way, is a value to doing this one step at a time, to just seeing exactly what is taking shape, because what is our other option? You import it all at the same time and then you don't know where things went. Like you have to go analyze it after it's in there. I don't know. I don't know if that's a great methodology. I would think, look at it spitting back. Look at it. What is it just doing? It's learned from the past. It's just giving me tokens now. I don't know. Maybe this is real AGI, guys. It's getting smarter. It's doing things I didn't ask it for. Okay, toolbar. So let's go to the toolbar and drop that in and see what that's doing. Okay. All right. I don't even know what it has in mind for a toolbar. I should have done this too. I should have said, can you show me a working version of this? Kevin asked Claude to create a web component. Yeah, we're getting there. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know that a web component. Why? What's the, tell me the benefits. What would the benefits be? What would the benefits be? Okay, working demo of responsive canvas alpha component. Anyway, while it's doing that, I'll go back and we'll continue. So we've got the dots. Okay, I assume that's going to be in the handle. Are the dots in the handle? We have the handle. Maybe the dots are going to be in the handle. No, there's something else called dots. I don't even know what it's trying to build there. I don't even know what would the dots be. Here's a dot. Oh, it's using SAS nesting. That's great. I didn't ask for any of that, but okay. So inside the dot. Oh, this is like the window dots. Oh, it's making like the browser dots up here. Ah, okay, that's a little overkill. I don't know if we need that. Well, we'll entertain it for now. We'll entertain it for now. So width display, that is this, and font family can just be code. Okay, I have a code font. I gave this tip the other day in the ACSS community if you missed it. So if you go to typography fonts, just name the shit whatever you want to name it, like hand, right? Code. And then it's essentially tokenized. Like you just reference it by name and you're done. So I want my code font, so font family's code. It's not really called font family code, but that doesn't matter. All right, so let's go. We can get out of there. We can get out of here. Let's go back. Let's grab the stage. I'm guessing this is the canvas. Like, why didn't it just call it canvas? Stage, or stage is like a wrapper of some sort. Let's go back here. We have the viewport. Okay, that would be more like the, or I guess the content would be the canvas. I don't know. Content, this is just, they're width 100%. All this width 100% is not even necessary. Because these are divs. I mean, they're already 100%, bro. They're already 100%. Here's the handle. It is using nesting. It is using a bunch of nesting. Okay. Handle. Bam. Okay. And then I'm thinking our responsive canvas alpha needs to be block size of 100%. Probably like a flex 1 just in case, like a little Firefox support there. Okay, let's look. So we've got a toolbar that has no, okay, canvas toolbar background was a locally scoped variable. Where did it define? Okay, it used locally scoped variables and never defined values for them. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's fantastic. Great job. Great job there. Yeah, okay. So canvas, these two things. All right, let's go in here and go to responsive canvas alpha, drop that in. Do null and null. And then we can give them, so if this was red, that's going to be red. All right. And if this was blue, that handle is going to be blue. But I can already tell this flex 1 if this was display flex and flex direction of column. Okay. And then this, you would think that that would be what? Oh, that's inside another wrapper. And that's inside. Okay. This needs to be flex 1. And then this needs to be flex 1. Display inherit. No, we're going to have to do this flex column here as well. I feel like, oh, this one's not flex column. Okay, now are they both? Now they're both. Now the content is good. Okay, that's much, much, much better. Okay, now obviously we don't want this blue handle. We also want to say responsive canvas alpha. Min, what was it? Min element? Min element size? No, it wasn't min. It was empty element size of 0, 0. Okay. Fantastic. How did they, width 2 pixels, height to rim 24. That doesn't make any sense. What is that? That doesn't even do anything. Fuck off, Claude. What are you doing? Border radius, 1 pixel, whatever. Background, handle, grip. That was never defined. Never defined, Claude. Okay. Handle, grip, green. As you can see, I'm making it as ugly as possible so that we can see where everything is. Canvas. Okay. I don't know that I want a background color there, but we might need a background color there. All right. Does it work would be the other question. Before we get any further, does it actually work? So responsive canvas alpha, data responsive canvas alpha. All right, let's take a trip to the front end. Okay. It is changing the value. We don't have anything in there. So there's no window edge, essentially. So if we go to the viewport, what are we actually changing? Are we changing the viewport or are we changing the content? Let's ask Claude real quick. All right. Does the handle change the viewport or the content? Here's the working version. Yeah, that definitely works. Okay. Well, I don't want these badges. Tablet. Okay, I don't want the badges. So the chain is drag handle, viewport width changes, content reflows inside of it. Okay. So what if I go to toolbar? No, I go to viewport, background, body BG. It's probably, I wonder if that is the same. It's the same as my thing. Okay. What if I did white? That's going to be ugly as sin. We probably need to do the color mix again. Okay. I'm going to insert the pattern. So inside of content, I'm going to do hero mockup. We'll throw that in. I'm going to steal the background on that. I'm going to come into the viewport and put that in. And we are once again just going to change this. Okay. Okay. Where are we at now? Okay. All right. It's mostly there. It's just special needs right now. So let's go into our responsive canvas alpha. Let's do this. Let's go to Claude. All right. The drag, my drag handle isn't dragging. But it works. But it works. The handle just doesn't move when the person drags it. And I'm guessing that's probably, I wonder if that was because of one of the Flex 1 things I did on here. So let's go to content, content with 100% Flex 1. Maybe Flex 1, there's a problem with that. No, there's not. What's the handle inside of? Button is inside of the stage. Maybe stage cannot be flex 1. Oh, that's definitely not causing the problem either. Okay. Let's get rid of some of the unnecessary stuff till we get it working. All right, what's the position of the handle? Position absolute, top 0, right 0, bottom 0. Border, none. Appearance, none. Display flex, line content, line item center, justify content center. Then there's a before. Okay. Check the code inside the working version. Okay, so let's go. Okay. I mean, this would be great if the handle was moving. Let's see what Claude says about it. The issue is the handle's position absolute right 0 in the CSS, but the JS tries to move it with handle style left. Those fight each other. The handle should always stay glued to the right edge of the viewport, not move independently. The fix, don't move the handle at all. The handle should be a child of the viewport, not the stage. So it automatically follows. The handle should be a child of the viewport, not the stage. Viewport, not the stage. Ah, yeah. Well, Claude, you're the one that did that, buddy. Okay. And then it's probably got some sort of JS. Yeah. And in CSS remove the right from the handle. Okay, so right from the handle. Once that gone, well, okay, what are you going to do about that? Give me the full updated JS. Don't give me pieces, Claude. What are we doing giving me pieces? I don't want pieces. I want the whole thing. I don't want to dig through there and figure out where to replace. Okay. Rest of styles, that should all be fine. Let the JS control its position entirely. Well, I mean, Claude, I mean, shouldn't it should start on the right though, bud. Like it should start on the right. It should just be right handle position. Okay. Right handle position. Okay, so how about this? How about this, Claude? How about this? Wouldn't it be better to just do something like blank and then update that with the JS? Holy smokes. I got to do everything for you, Claude. I got to think through this for you. Yeah. But see, you never know, is it actually a better idea or is it just glazing you? Because it's designed, it's programmed to glaze you, you know? So I don't know. Okay, alpha, handle, position, handle position, handle position, handle position, handle position. Why is this shit all spread out? Handle. Yeah, that they wouldn't update it if it's in the CSS there, Claude. Come on now. Claude. You're on the verge of being fired. Okay, so why are we setting the width as the handle position? What the fuck is actually happening, Claude? Why are you setting the width as the position? Why are you doing this? Yeah, we don't need that either. Okay, stage needs to be position relative. Let's make sure that. It already is. That's fine. Okay. Handle all the way down to width. Okay. Let's go to the handle. Replace all that. This still needs to be to rim. Left handle position, left handle position. Why did it switch to using left? Why did you switch from right to left? the left property. Yeah. Quit being dumb. Is there a prompt where you can be like, just quit being dumb? No, the handle does need to move, dog. Like, your fucking handle moves right there, my boy. Look at this handle moving. No. The handle does need to move. In fact, it moves in your mockup. Holy smokes. Yeah, you're the only one, I'm sure. I'm sure you're the only one it doesn't glaze. The handle's position relative to the viewport, so the viewer switch changes the handle ridge along with it automatically. So the correct right 0. JS only ever sets. No need for left. Okay. Let's reset. Okay. Let's move the handle with handle position set on the left property. Change handle position with the JS. Okay? Stop all the other nonsense. Yes. I'm not, this is just everybody's, I like to get these things on record, right? It's never the AI, guys. It's you don't know how to prompt. You don't know how to prompt, right? So you saw, right? We're trying to make adjustments with very logical, like, hey, okay, do this now. And it decides to do things I didn't ask it to do. And it chooses to do, but that's my fault, right? That's my fault. I didn't think ahead to the dumb things it might possibly do and instructed to definitely not do those and to only do the right things, right? And this is what you'll get from the AI bro crowd, unfortunately, is like, no, dog, when I use AI, it's perfect. It never makes mistakes. It never glazes me. It always tells me the truth. It always does all the things that it's supposed to do. It never does the wrong things. It never does. It's all one-shotted, by the way. And then I just ship out. I just ship to 0 users, and everything's great. Like this is the story I always hear. Okay. Give me the full new JS. Thank you. I don't want pieces of JS. I want all the new JS. We're gonna take this. We're gonna look. Okay. Hold on. I that was my fault right there. Sorry, I meant on the right property, not left. All right. Okay. I don't know. What's the straw man? What's the straw man? Okay. No, clamped. Okay. You literally just told me that I'm not good at prompting. That's where these problems came from, is that I'm not good at prompting. And so I said, show me where the prompt would have fixed it switching from the right property to the left property, as an example. Let's do 2rem, 18 pixels. Okay. Now let's get the new JS. Okay. Great. Give me the full JS. I'll just keep asking. I'll just keep asking for the same request over and over and over again. I'm not greatly exaggerating. You literally just said it. You watched it do dumb things and then you were like, that's your fault. When I never prompted it to do those dumb things and could not have avoided it doing those dumb things in the first place. We can go back and check the record. Like, it's literally right here. Okay. So let's go. Where were we? Okay. My drag handle isn't dragging, but it works. The handle just doesn't move when the person drags it. Okay. So it identifies a problem and then tries to, it's got some properties fighting with each other. And it decided the fix was just to don't move the handle at all. So I told it what was wrong. And it was like, yeah, by the way, I'm just going to decide that handle doesn't actually need to move, even though it moves in the mockup that it created. But that's my fault for, like, I didn't be like, by the way, it definitely needs to move, right? Like, I didn't tell it the obvious thing. My bad. I didn't tell it the thing that was fucking obvious about the functionality that it was already doing, by the way, and already thought it was doing before. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the handle dragging issue. That's been the problem the entire time. The problem that presumably you said was caused by a lack of understanding of prompting. That's the thing. All right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna put the JS back in. See if we can get to a working solution. All right, responsive canvas alpha replace. Okay, now we're where we need to be. Now we can style things up. But see, all of that rodeo that we just did was caused by it switching from the right property to the left property, then deciding that it was going to change the way that it was trying to change that value. It was changing a bunch of things that did not need to change. The structure that it gave me was incorrect. I had to move the button. These are not, this is standard AI bullshit that you constantly have to deal with. It's not, there is no magic prompting your way around these errors and issues that it constantly produces. And if you suggest that there is, it's like you're being disingenuous. And this is why people are not entertaining it anymore. All right, let's do this. We're gonna say that this is the browser color, maybe. Because I think in our mockup, let me get back to our other one. Up here somewhere. Here we go. It's like a browser color. Okay, so let's go to maybe it's the canvas I did that on, or the stage viewport. I did it on the viewport. Let's call this the, what is it? The responsive canvas. Okay. So responsive canvas browser BG, something like that. Responsive canvas browser BG. Let's go to responsive canvas alpha. Okay. Control V, color mix. There it is. Okay. Go to the handle itself. Background. Responsive canvas browser BG there. The dots are going to be the grip. Grip is going to be white trans. Do we have the does this auto complete into, oh, it doesn't. Okay. Oh, actually, I want to do primary. Primary trans 50, something like that. Okay. Primary transparent. Is that, maybe, no. Let's just make it primary. We'll see. Okay. Browser BG, but is this before? Yeah. Canvas handle grip. Okay. That seems like it's only that. All right, let's go back to here. Color mix as base light. Base light 15%. Okay, that's about right. 15% seems right. Okay. And then this is the browser BG as well. So let's grab that token. Let's come up here, background, put that in. I don't know if, okay, what are these colors? Dot. Responsive canvas alpha dot red. That's yellow. Dot green. Why are these not dot responsive canvas alpha dot yellow? Responsive canvas alpha dot yellow. These need to be ampersands. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's see where we're at. All right, our browser color is not enough. Let's do 25%. I feel like that's gonna look, yeah, that looks janky. This is too tall, first of all. Padding space XS space S. I don't know. I would say 0.5 M. Actually, let's just do a 2 rim. Let's just do like 20, 10. Just dial this in exactly. 8, something like that. Okay, and then this all needs a border. Like maybe it's the stage. Border. Where are we at now? Okay, like we're getting there. I actually don't need this label. This label is not necessary. Width display, let's delete that class and then just kill that. Oh, that was actually, I was wondering, okay, that was actually contributing a lot to the height. 18, that seems like it would be good. Okay, and it's actually not this that needs the border. This is the hero mockup, content, viewport, stage. It's not the stage that needs the border. It's like the entire thing. Okay, bam, bam. Refresh. Okay. Getting there. Border radius. Radius. And overflow is already hidden. That's pretty good. Okay, it's going to some minimum. But I guess that's fine. Why is this radiused out? What is that? Is that the it's just this in general? Okay, so take the border radius off the mockup. Don't need that anymore. Border radius, gone. And is this in its final form now for the most part? I feel like, yeah, this is no longer hero mockup viewport stage ... responsive canvas. I also want this to be figure has me, because this is the outermost element now. So what we did on the hero mockup, this figure has me situation, can just move over. It can just migrate to here. Okay. Figure has me, display flex, flex direction, justify content center, aspect ratio, auto. Okay, that's a bit better. I want this to div data. There's some sort of padding down there, or what is causing that extra little bit of spacing? Overflow hidden. Oh, it's probably this flex 1. It's the flex 1. Let's get rid of the flex 1 on here. Save, refresh. Are we centered now? Fantastic. Okay. The handle's a little obnoxious. We're gonna go to responsive canvas and say that is going to be color mix, var white and transparent. Now we just need like 20% white, 30% white, something obvious. And then, I don't know, they look a little tall or something. Height, 14. 20? 20? How about 20? There we go. And that whole bar is a little wide to me. That whole bar is a little wide. I don't know. But the width is only 2 pixels. What is it? Well, okay, that's the handle. Width 2 rem 8. Okay. But then I don't know. We just need 1 line. We don't need all that. We don't need all that. We don't need 3. I want this to be a little sleeker. The problem is, are you going to know that you can drag that? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, how about this? How about this? We'll drop in, well, let's create a component. Oh, wait, hold on. Exit. Responsive canvas alpha, create component. Okay. Responsive canvas alpha. I'm just going to save that. That's fine. So that's all one piece now. Exit there. Actually, sorry, let's go back. If we really want to do this the right way, we're going to go take our hero mockup, copy that out, and then add a slot here and go, this is the canvas content. And then we exit this. And inside of our little component here, okay, we've got that component, that has a slot. All right. Responsive canvas alpha hero mockup sits right inside that. So now we can put anything in there that we wanted to. And now around it, inside of the figure slot, we can drop some text. And we could say, use the drag handle to preview the dynamic responsiveness of this mockup, something like that. I don't know. We can go rando on this class, okay? And we're gonna say font family is hand, and let's just go text align to the center, margin, block start of 0.5 LH. And then let's do like a max inline size of 20 characters, 30, 40, 40, 40. Margin inline of auto. I don't know, pretty decent. Use the drag handle on the right. Give them a little more instruction. Okay. Okay, what are we fighting about in the chat now? To be fair, you're in a huge chat using chat and seem to be using the browser version. Maybe worth giving Codex a try. Claude's, yeah, Claude's not overhyped. Claude's not overhyped. But what I'm showcasing, first of all, this will eventually be done inside of Etch. Codex is a little bit overkill, and for the purposes of what I'm doing, I'm not asking it to just build this component. I'm asking it to build it in the context of the mockups that it was creating for the ideation I'm trying to do for a portion of a website that it doesn't have any context for. So it's a very on-the-fly workflow, which doesn't really matter, right? Because I'm giving it the context that it needs. And we got to where we wanted to be. Okay. So that is a little presentation for, by the way, if you see a way to improve this, any small improvements you might want to make to this, let me know. Drop them in the chat. If you see anything quick and obvious. One-click solutions to complex problems. Let's see which one we want to do next. So we have a dark light interactive mockup now. We have a responsive mockup now. What else do we want? Let's look at the Claude mockup, by the way. Perfect class names generated on. So we have auto BEM visualization. I don't know if that's what I want to do for that. We did that one. So there's one that's going to detail the recipe library. And I'm wondering, okay, so what it's decided to do is like, hey, you could have these feature rows. I don't think I want to, I'm not going to like demo all of these things. It's just kind of giving people an idea that these things are one-click options. So I almost want them to be like Booleans, maybe, but fake Booleans. I don't want them. I don't want the user to feel like they're interactive, because there's not going to be a preview of each one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how best to visualize that one. Maybe we should do this with BEM. I almost think like a mock-up of the structure panel, but they need to see the class names. This is all very difficult to visualize. Like, how do you visualize auto BEM in a 2D kind of like just flat style mock-up? So, okay, so div, imagine these were like the element names, and then these are the class names. And I don't think we don't need these bubbles over here. Maybe we'll just do this. Okay, we'll do at least start here. And then I'll show you how to add the animation, how I've been adding the on scroll animation. So build meaning, not magic numbers. Here we go. Perfectly organized class names. This is what we want right here. Alrighty, so we're gonna add a div. This is going to be our BEM mockup. And if we look at what we need here, we need a div and then two labels, essentially. A div and two labels. And that's probably it. A div and two labels. All right. So add a div, add a span, add another span. So this is going to be the element label. This is going to be the BEM label. This is going to be a element row. That sounds right. So you have a BEM mockup. That's kind of like the whole list of them. And then you have an element row that has a label and two labels in it. If we had a couple of these labels, I did not mean to hit the delete button. Let's undo that, okay? So we have a couple here. So we'll say like H2, this will be like a P, this will be like a div, something like that, okay? And then I think we're good. So we'll just go right click and create the BEM classes for this. This will be flex column. We'll go ahead and add a card gap here. The row itself will be flex row. We'll do a flex wrap of wrap most likely. We will do a content gap most likely, probably space between on these. The row itself is going to get some padding, but not that much. Let's do XS there. Space M on the sides might be enough. Background of base dark maybe. Base semi-dark. Base semi-light. Oh, that's way too light. Let's do the same color mix function that we were doing. In OKLCH. Actually, let's do this. Let's do base light trans and just get it to generate one. 5. That's not enough contrast. People like contrast, you know? That's what I keep hearing from people. border radius of radius, border of border. And starting to come to life. These are all going to be font family code. And font size of probably as small as it gets, text SXS. And then we're going to need a, so this would be something like, imagine we're doing a card. Oh yeah, okay. I think maybe doing a structure panel type situation where we change the width to show, like, just show a slight amount of nesting, perhaps. That might do it. I want that to be half. Or like 1.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so imagine this was like card heading. Card heading, like that. And this is like card description. This is just card. Okay, this is gonna be up there. I can actually name these in just a minute. Okay. And then I want the arrow. Do I have an arrow already? I have an arrow. Okay. Let's get the arrow. And let's say this is going to be on the hold on, let's think about that. This would be a child of the row, which would make it a sibling of the other labels, which would mean I could order it properly if I just did it as a row. Okay, so let's do before, content, inline size 1em, block size 1em, background red, display flex. I'll just order the other two labels. Let's do align center on that parent element. Okay. This will be background. No, background's red. Mask image. Mask size. That should be good. Mask repeat. No repeat. Mask position center. I don't think that's needed if you are covering, but you know, we'll throw it on there. And then this can be primary. And then all we're gonna do is take this label and, okay, element label. There's two labels, element row. All right, we'll just do it from, we'll just do it with inth. Inth child, inth of type. 1 order -1. That should be all we need. But do we want all the? Do we want? Okay. Display grid. Grid template columns. Auto 1FR auto. 10 characters, auto 10 characters. Which clearly need more than 10 characters. 30 characters. Oh yeah, that won't work. That definitely won't work. Okay, let's think about this. Well, actually, we don't want them to be the same. I mean, 10 characters is probably enough on this side. And then this is 1FR. That might be better. That might be a better way. I don't know. We'll play with the alignment more as we go. But I think that's probably correct. That's probably better. Okay, so the question is, these are children, right? So children, so I take this row. And we say, okay, if we are, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of hierarchy. Not first of type. Inline size, 85%. Now, if I just align end, okay, so that means they all need to be inline size of 100% to start out with. There we go. There we go. Okay. 95%. They don't need to be staggered that crazy. Okay. Well, this is starting to visualize, right? Like, okay. So we just need more elements, right? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Okay. Okay. I'm very tempted to loop this. I'm very tempted to loop this. I'm just gonna say, I'm very fucking tempted to loop this. Okay, I'm gonna feed this to Claude, to our boy Claude here. Okay. I'm building this mock-up for AutoBIM. I think I want to generate each element in the structure panel with a loop. Can you give me the JSON for a card mockup? Let's do, okay. Oh, because this is gonna help. This is gonna help. This is gonna allow us to actually do sub nesting, I think fairly easily. Can you give me the JSON for a card mockup? Let's do the following elements, okay? Let's do card heading, card description, card featured image, card image, card figure, card image, okay? Card button, card CTA, okay? Okay, the element names, the JSON should have the name of the element. I'm actually gonna give it also a screenshot, I think. We'll give it a little extra context. The JSON should have the name of the element, the class name it maps to, and its structure depth via data structure depth, okay? E.g., parent is 0, direct child is 1, etc. Okay? All right. Give me the, okay, let's just see what it spits back. Let's just see what it spits back. The media icon is shrinking on resize. The media icon, oh, good call, good call, good call. I think you're talking about this thing up here. So there, flex shrink of 0 should kill that. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to here. Okay, card class, card depth. Copy. Okay, hopefully it did it right. Hopefully it did it right. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to delete, take this element row, wrap it in a loop, put the array as the loop source, and then take this div and say item.name, and then this is gonna be item.class. And okay. Because you just, you don't understand the sorcery of etch. And this is one of the hidden sorceries of etch. And then we're going to take the data structure depth equals item dot, I don't even know what it used. Item dot depth. Item dot depth, which means I can come down here and I don't have to do this first of type nonsense. I can do data structure depth equals 1. Okay, and that's going to be inline size of 95%. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to do data structure depth of 2 and make it 90%. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, guys. Holy smokes. Okay. Let's see. Fonts and text XS. I'm just going to 2-rem this. These code fonts, they take up a lot. 12, 14. Okay, that's about right. Before 20 characters. Does that get us where we need to be? Maybe that's a little small. It's a little small. 16, 15. By the time we're back to 15, I think we're at XS, you know? Oh, but those are supposed to be element names, right? Weren't those supposed to be element names? No. This is supposed to be like the name of the element. Like, okay, so in our JSON loop, the name would be card. Okay, so let's go back to Claude. The name should be the element. For example, what did I call the wrapper? Where did my mockup go? Okay, here we go. The card figure. For example, card figure should be figure, and card should be article. So we are showing the mapping of elements into classes, okay? Okay. And all it's going to do is spit back the JSON that I can literally just replace in the loop. So I grab that, I go back, and we just take this whole array and just replace it. And now we don't need so much over here. This can still be 10 characters, something like that. Fantastic. Okay. So we have an article, and we have a figure that has an image, we have an H3, a P, and an A. So now what I can do is the H3PA should be in a div called in a div called content wrapper. In a div called content wrapper. Or just content. In a div called content. Let's just do content. The P3A should be in a div called content. Please adjust the JSON. And now watch, it should know to change the structure depth values of those elements, which means it automatically takes care of that for me. So let's go back to our loop and let's just drop that in. And it does. Look, it updated the depth values. And so we now have a new depth. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this BIM mockup. Again, figure has me as a direct child. We want to flex column that and justify content to the center. It goes to the center. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to border this at all? I don't think we do. We just want, like, is that good enough? What did we do on the setup page with some of these? Yeah, it's just like that. That's fine. So, yeah. All right, let's animate it now. Let's animate it now. So what we want to do is we want to say on, what was it? On enter. So we'll do on enter, all blur, all float, all grow. Do we want to blur them? I don't know. We definitely want to grow them. Okay. We definitely want to float them. Let's try blurring them. Let's try on enter, all blur. Okay, let's refresh. I don't know. That's pretty slick. Now, the only thing still is our the depth you know, throws off our arrow position. I don't know if that matters all that much. Does that matter? Is there any designers in the house that want to weigh in on that? Oh, you know what? This actually should be, this can give it a little more life. This label right here, the BEM label, we can do color of primary. Fat fingers today. Fat fingers today. There we go. That looks a little bit better. What I might also be able to do is take the before margin inline start auto. Would that do anything? I guess that wouldn't do anything because of the way this is all positioned. Is this fine? Somebody said less blur. Less blur. So you can, I'll show you two things you can do. First of all, you can control the default blur. So if we go to effects and we go to on enter and we come down to blur, you have a blur amount right here. This is the default blur, global default. However, if for example, let's say you like 8 pixels in general everywhere, but like right here, you wanted to adjust that, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to grab the row that's being animated. Okay, enter float, enter blur amount. So there's a token called enter blur amount. And actually it's, you have to do animate blur, I think, because it's like encapsulated or whatever. Let's see, var enter blur amount, animate blur. Yes, animate blur. Okay, I think it's just, so let's go here and drop that in here and just say 4 pixels. Okay, 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 4 pixels. Does this, let's see if this changes it. This is actually good because I haven't done, this is the first site I'm actually using the effects on. Okay, that doesn't look like it's changing it there. So let's go see what we might want to adjust instead. Enter blur amount, 8 pixels. Okay, maybe we just need to change the enter blur amount. Enter blur, there we go. Enter blur amount. So now we can just dial this in. How much do you want this to blur? And this only applies now to this one group of elements. How's that? How's that? How do we feel? How do we feel? Does this need anything else? Does this need shadows? Does this need shadowing? Do these need like, by the way, you can name your box shadows in ACSS now. So shadows, I have subtle and heavy. So I could come down and I could do box shadow subtle. See how that does. Now our structure panel, it is pretty subtle. Let's do maybe, what does heavy look like? Ooh, much deeper, I think. Yeah. And now it's got the shadowing behind it. I'll let you guys decide, shadowing or no shadowing. Shadowing or no shadowing. How does it look on mobile? I would, the third line visible. The third line, I don't know what that means. Let's see. How many people, by the way, are still with us? Where's my eCam? There we go. Okay. About the same. Gradient mask on the blur, just a thought. Maybe frosted would work better, that blur for this effect, blur with mask. I don't know what effect you're trying to describe. All right, everybody votes for, well, Yasser voted for shadow. West voted for shadow. Okay, so we'll keep the shadow in there. All right, everybody likes the shadow. All right, that's pretty slick. So what we've gotten is, we've gotten this component. We've gotten this BIM structure panel kind of visualizer. We've got the color scheme visualizer. Things are coming along, right? But do you see, it's like, man, we've got to we've got to create like a mini presentation for each damn feature. You know, it's kind of involved. It's kind of involved. How are we looking on mobile? So if we bring this down, okay, let's go down, 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 down. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, so there's your visualizer here. That one's empty. That one's empty so far. There's our there's our structure panel. Let's keep going down. There is going to be a little bit of an overflow there. So I'm wondering if I should just do auto there. I mean, you could actually do this in Etch. Like, you don't even need to be in the inspector. You can just do this here. Oh, we are getting a little overflow in here that we'll have to figure out. Oh, it's probably just this thing in general. Because if this wasn't here, you wouldn't be getting that. So, okay. And that may be coming from that grid. It is. Yeah, maybe just auto there. Maybe just auto there. Okay. My internet's like something's up with my my internet. My page won't load. Hopefully the stream is not being okay. I think we're back. This is a placeholder for the navigation up here, so don't mind that. It's also the placeholder is breaking the page. But this should be, yeah, that's all better now. That should look good all the way down. Okay. All right. I think we're pretty good. I think we've done enough for today. At least for this stream anyway. Got a couple key sections kind of finalized here. That double clicks to reset. That's nice. It learned from the other, the color scheme one that I built previously where I wanted to double click to reset it to the middle. All right, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. I talked about V4 dropping officially. It's like, it's already officially dropped. What's left to get it out of RC is literally like the licensing system, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then the bricks context menu and class suggests, we just have to clean those things up. So, that's pretty, like the framework itself is done. Need to add inspector on element on Etch like Chrome. I mean, you can use the inspector inside of Etch. Like you can inspect things in here. Same. But it's like, you know, you often don't need to because you're seeing what's happening, you know, in the actual CSS right here. I think it's actually Rocket been acting weird lately. We've been getting a lot of uptime Kuma alerts only last. Yeah, it's weird. It's like there'll be some sort of like, it feels like a glitch in Rocket, either in the caching or in the actual page loading, and it's kind of weird. I really don't know why they don't have a way to just turn off caching. Like, it seems like that would be an obvious thing. Let me, I didn't go to #Q and see if there's any questions for, oh geez, there's a bunch. Okay. More 101 videos coming this week. I finally got my voice back. I was gone all day yesterday traveling. So I wasn't even here to record. Today I have the live stream, obviously. Tomorrow, I think I'm back to having free time and my voice is back from being sick. So I will be able to get a 101 video out tomorrow. Which version of Etch is this? It's the latest release version. Did building Etch with your team learn you more about JS and development itself? I haven't built any of Etch. I'm responsible for like one feature or two, maybe 2 features. I don't know. I still do all the development on ACSS, like on the framework side of things, but I don't do development on Etch. I'm not qualified to do development on Etch. Let's see. I did show how the font options work in V4, I think on last stream. But I'll do a dedicated video for it soon. What is the best stack for a service-based business in 2026? Etch, automatic CSS, ACF. I'm going to redo my stack video, but I wanted to get like the content hub further along to where you don't need ACF anymore. Because I literally want the stack video to be like Etch, automatic CSS, WS form. Like we're getting to the point that's almost damn near your stack. Like it's not much else is actually necessary. Unless you're doing like, but even highly specialized stuff, you can actually build in Etch. Okay. By shades, I meant surfaces and overlays. Yeah, I can do a video on that at some point. Okay, I think that's it for today. Example. Okay. I'm enjoying 101 Era 4, changing my website for bricks and ACSS to Etch and ACSS. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. And if you need any help, reach out to us in the community. There's a lot of people onboarding right now. A lot of people converting sites. By the way, I will give a sneak announcement for Tobias. So Tobias has a side project he's been working on. It's not officially, it's not like affiliated with Digital Gravy or anything like that. He built it for himself originally, but now he's going to probably release it for sale for everybody else because so many people are asking for it, and obviously they're going to want it. But it is a converter, like essentially a one-click bricks to Etch converter, and I've seen it. It's working quite well. And it's like doing entire sites. Like it's like just take this thing I built in bricks, convert it to Etch, and full blown sites converted in very, very little time. So that's pretty exciting for the people that want to be able to convert sites like that. So keep an eye out for that. It should be coming soon. I don't know. I don't have a time frame for it, but I hear it's getting close, and it should be of interest to lots and lots and lots of people. If he wants me to do a sneak peek, like a demo, I'm happy to do one. Like I said, it's totally his product, totally his stuff going on. It doesn't involve us or our team or anything else. But I'll ask him if he wants me to do a demo for it, and we can take a look at it. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get some lunch, and I think I got a softball game if things dry up. Tomorrow I will do my absolute best. My goal for tomorrow, for recording PB 101, if nothing gets in the way, let's shoot for like at least two PB 101 videos coming out tomorrow. That will be my goal. Okay. I'll be back very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next week.